Different rulers, known as Subedars, have administered this region at different times since the emergence of Mughal rule in Bengal. In 1740, Subedar of Bihar, Nawab Alivardi Khan, ousted Subedar Sarfaraz Khan to become the ruler of Bengal in a bloodless coup. After the demise of Alivardi Khan, his nephew Siraj-ud-Dowla got into the seat of power to rule Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. But soon, the British merchants forming East India Company started business and gradually seized the political power in Bengal, trading on the weakness of young Nawab, who became a victim of conspiracy by members of his cabinet and the British merchants. In an unequal war on June 23, 1757 at Plassey, Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowla was defeated and killed by the British force led by Lord Clive. Mir Zafar, the chief of the Nawab's force, betrayed Siraj-ud-Dowla and Bengal lost its freedom. The British rule continued for 200 years in India. Then the history of struggle for the freedom of India is long and eventful. Indian leaders like Mahatma Gandhi could feel the pulse of the people who were cherishing the dream of freedom. Mahatma Gandhi was not willing to divide the country on the basis of two-nation theory, which meant two separate states, one for Hindus and another for Muslims. Gandhiji sought cooperation from Muhammad Ali Jinnah. On September 9 in 1944, Gandhiji went to Jinnah's house in Delhi. They continued discussions for 18 days to stop the division of India, but Muslim League leaders appeared adamant about a separate state for Muslims. At this time in March 1946, a delegation of the then ruling Labour Party in Britain came down to Delhi for discussions on independence of India. They held discussions with Gandhiji, Muhammad Ali Jinnah and other prominent leaders. As part of the continuation of the discussions, a historic conference was held at Simla. It was attended by renowned Indian leaders like Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Jawaharlal Nehru, Abdul Ghaffar Khan and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. They exchanged views on the proposed independence and decided to form an interim government. But there also, leaders of the Congress Party and the Muslim League failed to reach consensus. As a result, on May 12, the meeting broke down. To stop the formation of the interim government, Muslim League leader Muhammad Ali Jinnah declared 16th August a direct action day. The Congress Party gave a counter call to resist the Muslim League program. This resulted in a serious riot between Hindus and Muslims. The riot spread from Calcutta to Noakhali and other places of Bengal. Tripura and Punjab also came under the mischief of the riot. To stop it, Gandhiji went on hunger strike and then decided to visit the riot-torn areas. He went to Noakhali. There he tried to convince the people, saying Hindus and Muslims are brothers and nobody would benefit from the riot. Things improved after a lot of endeavor by Gandhiji and Muslim League leader Hussain Shahid Sohrawardi. In the meantime came the Second World War, which changed the political scenario throughout India and thus the world. In August 1945, the whole world resented and raised voice against the use of atom bomb by America on Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. At this time, on 22nd March 1947, Indian Viceroy Lord Mountbatten invited Mahatma Gandhi to his Delhi residence. There, Gandhiji was told India would be divided into two independent countries. Mahatma Gandhi bitterly opposed the idea. So did the Congress. But to avoid bloodshed, the Congress accepted the demand of the Muslim League to divide India. And finally, in August 1947, India was divided into two sovereign countries on the basis of the two-nation theory. Pakistan emerged as an independent country in August 14, 1947. 70 million people of the then East Pakistan, being away from West Pakistan by more than 1,000 miles, thought they would be able to live in peace and prosperity as Muslims. But soon, their dream was shattered. The Pakistan ruling coterie appeared in its original color to dominate over East Pakistan. To begin with, they tried to take away the language of the Bengalis, Bangla. The then Vice-Chancellor of Aligarh University, Dr. Ziauddin Ahmed, proposed that Urdu should be the state language of Pakistan. But great linguist Dr. Muhammad Shahidullah, along with other members of intelligentsia, vehemently opposed this. But on February 23, 1948, in Pakistan Constituent Assembly, Congress Party member Martyr Dhirendranath Datto proposed Bangla as one of the state languages of Pakistan. The Prime Minister of Pakistan, Liaquat Ali, Chief Minister Khaja Nazimuddin, and President of the Constituent Assembly, Maulvi Tamiduddin Khan, rejected the proposal. As protest against this, Bengal rose in revolt. On 11th March 1948, a strike call was given all over East Bengal. During the strike, police imposed Section 144 and resorted to large-scale lathi-charge on students of Dhaka University. The police action, which included arrests, triggered a tense situation. At this time, the then Chief Minister of East Pakistan, Khaja Nazimuddin, came to an understanding with those who were on strike. But the then Governor of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, came to East Pakistan and in separate meetings on 21st and 24th March 1948 declared
that Urdu shall be the only state language of Pakistan.
This led to a real explosive situation throughout East Bengal. Meanwhile, unknown assailants killed Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan, and Khaja Nazimuddin became the Prime Minister of Pakistan. On January 27, 1952, he came to Dhaka and echoed the voice of Muhammad Ali Jinnah that Urdu, only Urdu, would be the state language of Pakistan. The people rose in revolt and called a total strike throughout East Pakistan on February 4. As the strike continued, the budget session of the Provincial Assembly began in Dhaka. Centering this session, procession, meeting and assembly of more than 4 got banned under Section 144 imposed by the authority. Those who took part in the language movement decided to break 144. According to the decision, they brought out a procession on February 21st from Dhaka University, marching towards the Assembly Bhavan. At 3:30 p.m., police finally fired on them, and Shafiq, Rafiq, Salam, Barkat, Jabbar, and many others were killed. On February 22, 1952, the movement took a serious turn. Right at that time, a bill was introduced in the Provincial Assembly demanding that Bangla be given the status of state language. But Bengalis had to wait till February 29, 1956, the day Pakistan's constitution came into force. In the meantime, Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan Bhashani, a leader of the toiling mass, came to East Bengal from Assam and started anti-Muslim League campaign. In another development, the then leader Hussain Shahid Sohrawardi and young Sheikh Mujib, along with others, formed Awami Muslim League. Gradually, a united front was formed to give it a non-communal color. The language movement sowed the seed of Bengali nationalism, and in continuation of this, in the provincial election in 1954, the United Front, under the leadership of Shere Bangla A.K. Fazlul Haq, Maulana Bhashani and Sohrawardi, won a landslide victory. But the centre dismissed the United Front government by imposing governor's rule when it was only 45 days old. In September 1958, the then military ruler, Field Marshal Ayub Khan, declared himself as the head of the Pakistan government. To perpetrate his rule, he changed the constitution and introduced basic democracy. During the period, he unleashed extreme oppression on East Pakistan. In the War of 1965 between Pakistan and India, the government's attitude towards East Pakistan became clear. Despite the fact the maximum revenue used to come from East Pakistan, the province was left defenseless during the war. As a result, East Pakistanis felt that West Pakistan was not at all concerned about the safety and security of East Pakistan. In this situation, Awami League leader Sheikh Mujibur Rahman came up with the historic 6-point demand on 23rd March 1966, raising the slogan, "6-point demand is our demand for existence." At the same time, a separate paramilitary force for East Bengal was demanded. The Pakistan government came down heavily on Sheikh Mujib and others who were pleading for the implementation of the 6-point demand. Sheikh Mujib was arrested along with others in connection with the so-called Agartala conspiracy case. During the case, Sergeant Zohrul Haq was killed by the Pakistan Army while in custody. Another accused, Sergeant Fazlul Haq, was injured. Pakistan Army also killed Professor Shamsul Zoha, a teacher of Rajshahi University. All these led to an explosive situation. A top British lawyer, Thomas Williams, with barrister Amirul Islam and barrister Maudud Ahmed, appeared to defend Sheikh Mujib in the Agartala conspiracy case. Side by side, the people continued their movement against Ayub Khan, who was compelled to withdraw the case on February 22, 1968. He also announced that he would not contest in the next presidential election. Sheikh Mujib, on release from jail, was made a hero and given the honor of Bangabandhu at a mammoth public meeting. By then, the movement against Ayub Khan started picking up. The All-Party Students' Action Committee came up with an 11-point demand, which included full regional autonomy for East Pakistan. As a follow-up, a mass movement became a threat to Ayub Khan's existence. On February 20, a student leader, Asad, and many others were killed in police firing. Sheikh Mujib took lead of the movement and came out with a 21-point demand, which ultimately took shape of a charter for independence. In this explosive situation, Ayub Khan was compelled to quit, giving his last speech on radio. Then came another military ruler, Yahya Khan. He proved to be a dictator of the highest order. The country witnessed extreme oppression, deterioration of law and order, movement and resentment, and dissatisfaction. On 11 November 1969, a severe cyclone hit the coastal belt of East Pakistan, and the death toll ran into tens of thousands. The Pakistan rulers remained indifferent over the loss of life and property in the cyclone. The people of East Pakistan finally decided to sever relations with West Pakistan, and their feelings were reflected in December 1970's general election. Out of 169 seats in East Pakistan, Awami League secured 167 seats, a majority in the 300-seat National Assembly. Yahya Khan congratulated Sheikh Mujib on his landslide victory and started calling him future Prime Minister.
কোটি প্রাণ একসাথে জেগেছে অন্ধরাতে নতুন সূর্য ওঠার এই তো সময়। জয় বাংলা, বাংলার জয়, জয় বাংলা, বাংলার জয়।
On 3rd June 1971, Sheikh Mujib addressed the nation outlining his future plan and program and highlighting the disparity between West Pakistan and East Pakistan.
আজ বাংলাদেশের মানুষ বাস্তুহারা হয়েছে, যাদের ঘর বাড়ি নাই। আজকে দেখেন রাস্তার পারে পারে, বস্তিতে বস্তিতে হাজার হাজার মানুষ ঘর নাই, বাড়ি নাই, রাস্তার উপর পড়ে থাকে। আইয়ুব খানের আমলে ক্লাস জমি বড় বড় বুড়িওয়ালাদের দেওয়া হয়েছে। ওই বুড়িওয়ালাদের কাছ থেকে জমি কেড়ে নিয়ে যারা জমিহীন কৃষক, তাদের মধ্যে জমি বিলি করা হবে। ভবিষ্যতে খাস ল্যান্ড আর বড় লোকদের দেওয়া হবে না, গরিবদের মধ্যে ভাগ করা হবে। আমি জানি দেশের মধ্যে বেকার সমস্যা বেড়ে গেছে। কি করব ভাই, জানি। আপনারা আস্থা দিয়েছেন, আপনারা ভোট দিয়েছেন, শতকরা 98টা সিট আমাকে দিয়েছেন, আমি জানি। টাকা কোথায়, পয়সা কোথায়? একদম শেষ করে দিয়েছে। বেকার 70 লক্ষ বেকার আছে এই বাংলাদেশে। এদের জন্য কুটির শিল্পের মাধ্যমে এবং কাজের বন্দোবস্ত করে যত তাড়াতাড়ি হয় বেকার সমস্যা দূর করার চেষ্টা করতে হবে। না হলে এই দেশের মানুষ শিগাল কুকুরের মতো রাস্তাঘাটে না খেয়ে মরবে। আর একটা কথা বলি আমার রিফিউজি ভাইদের কাছে, 23 বছর পরে এ দেশে আর রিফিউজি নাই। আপনারা বাংলাদেশে আসছেন বাঙালি, 23 বছর পর্যন্ত আজও আমরা রিফিউজি ট্যাক্স দেই। 7 লক্ষ রিফিউজি আসাম, পশ্চিমবঙ্গ, বিহার, কুচবিহার, কলকাতা থেকে এসছে। তাদের জন্য একটা পয়সা আজ পর্যন্ত খরচ করা হয় না। আর যারা রিফিউজি এসছেন, বাংলার মাটির সঙ্গে মিলে যান, বাংলার মাটির সঙ্গে এক হয়ে যান। আপনারা আমাদের ভাই, এই মাতৃভূমিকে গ্রহণ করে নেন। বাঙালি যে অধিকার পাবে, আপনারা সে অধিকার পাবেন। হিন্দু ভাই, খ্রিস্টান ভাই, বৌদ্ধ ভাইদের বলি, তোমাদের উপর এতদিন যে অত্যাচার মাঝে মাঝে হয়েছে, সে আমি জানি। ভবিষ্যতে সে অত্যাচার হবে না। মুসলমানের যে অধিকার, এই দেশের হিন্দু, খ্রিস্টান, বৌদ্ধ, সেই অধিকার এই বাংলার মাটিতে হবে। সরকারি কর্মচারী ভাইদের বলি, জনগণের খাদেম হতে হবে, বড় কর্তা হলে চলবে না। আর গরিবকে না খেয়ে মরতে দেব না, এটা আমরা প্রতিজ্ঞাবদ্ধ। যে সমস্ত মামলা মকদ্দমা এখন পর্যন্ত রাজনৈতিক কর্মীদের বিরুদ্ধে, ছাত্রদের বিরুদ্ধে, শ্রমিকদের বিরুদ্ধে আছে এবং যারা বিনা বিচারে বন্দী আছে, সরকারকে অনুরোধ করব তাদের এই মুহূর্তে মুক্তি দেওয়ার জন্য। আর না হলে কতদিনে রাখবেন, আমরাই তো মুক্তি দেব ইনশাআল্লাহ, সময় বেশি দিন না। জয় বাংলা, জয় বাংলা, জয় বাংলা।
But the leader of Pakistan People's Party, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who had 88 seats in the assembly, started conspiracy to delay the handover of power. He was not willing to allow any party from outside West Pakistan into state power. Ignoring all democratic norms, he openly threatened that he would not tolerate any party in power without PPP. Only because of his opposition, the first session of National Assembly of Pakistan was called on 3rd March 1971, 2 months after the election. Finally, that session was also cancelled, putting the whole country in uncertainty. At a historic meeting on March 7 at the racecourse ground of Dhaka, he gave the call for freedom. He said, "This time it is a struggle for liberation. It is a struggle for freedom."
আজ দুঃখ ভারাক্রান্ত মন নিয়ে আপনাদের সামনে হাজির হয়েছি। আজ ঢাকা, চট্টগ্রাম, খুলনা, রাজশাহী, রংপুরে আমার ভাইয়ের রক্তে রাজপথ রঞ্জিত হয়েছে। আজ বাংলার মানুষ মুক্তি চায়, বাংলার মানুষ বাঁচতে চায়, বাংলার মানুষ তারা আজ তার অধিকার চায়। কিন্তু দুঃখের বিষয়, আজ দুঃখের সঙ্গে বলতে হয় 23 বছরের করুণ ইতিহাস, বাংলার অত্যাচারের, বাংলার মানুষের রক্তের ইতিহাস, 23 বছরের ইতিহাস, মুমূর্ষ নরনারীর আর্তনাদের ইতিহাস, বাংলার ইতিহাস, এদেশের মানুষের রক্ত দিয়ে রাজপথ রঞ্জিত করার ইতিহাস। 1952 সালে রক্ত দিয়েছি, 1954 সালে নির্বাচনে জয়লাভ করেও আমরা গদিতে বসতে পারি নাই। 1958 সালে আইয়ুব খান মার্শাল জারি করে 10 বছর পর্যন্ত আমাদের গোলাম করে রেখেছে। 1967 সালে 6 দফার আন্দোলনে 7ই জুনে আমার ছেলেদের গুলি করে হত্যা করা হয়েছে। 1969 সালে আন্দোলনে আইয়ুব খানের পতন হওয়ার পরে যখন ইয়াহিয়া খান সাহেব সরকার নিলেন, তিনি বললেন দেশে শাসনতন্ত্র দেবেন, গণতন্ত্র দেবেন, আমরা মেনে নিলাম। কি পেলাম আমরা? আমার পয়সা দিয়ে অস্ত্র কিনেছি বহিঃশত্রু আক্রমণ থেকে দেশকে রক্ষা করার জন্য। আজ সেই অস্ত্র ব্যবহার হচ্ছে আমার দেশের গরিব দুঃখী নিরস্ত্র মানুষের বিরুদ্ধে, তার বুকের উপরে হচ্ছে গুলি। আমার 25 তারিখে অ্যাসেম্বলি কল করেছে, রক্তের দাগ শুকায় নাই। আমি 10 তারিখে বলে দিয়েছি যে ওই শহীদের রক্তের উপর দিয়ে পাড়া দিয়ে আরটিসিতে মুজিবুর রহমান যোগদান করতে পারে না। অ্যাসেম্বলি কল করেছেন, আমার দাবি মানতে হবে। প্রথম, সামরিক আইন মার্শাল ল উদ্ধ করতে হবে। সমস্ত সামরিক বাহিনীর লোকদের বেড়াকে ফেরত দিতে হবে। যেভাবে হত্যা করা হয়েছে তার তদন্ত করতে হবে। আর জনগণের প্রতিনিধির কাছে ক্ষমতা হস্তান্তর করতে হবে। তারপরে বিবেচনা করে দেখব আমরা অ্যাসেম্বলিতে বসতে পারবো কি পারবো না। আমি পুনর বন্ধুত্ব চাই না, আমরা দেশের মানুষের অধিকার চাই। আর যদি একটা গুলি চলে, আর যদি আমার লোকের উপর হত্যা করা হয়, তোমাদের উপর কাছে আমার অনুরোধ রইল, প্রত্যেক ঘরে ঘরে দুর্গ করে তোলো। তোমাদের যা কিছু আছে তাই নিয়ে শত্রুর মোকাবেলা করতে হবে এবং জীবনের তরে রাস্তাঘাট যা যা আছে সব কিছু আমি যদি হুকুম দিতে না পারি তোমরা বন্ধ করে দেবে। আমরা যখন মরতে শিখেছি তখন কেউ আমাদের দমাতে পারবে না। তোমাদের যা কিছু আছে তাই নিয়ে প্রস্তুত থাকো। মনে রাখবা, রক্ত যখন দিয়েছি রক্ত আরো দেবো, এদেশের মানুষকে মুক্ত করে ছাড়বো ইনশাআল্লাহ। এবারে সংগ্রাম আমাদের মুক্তির সংগ্রাম, এবারে সংগ্রাম স্বাধীনতার সংগ্রাম।
Do you know that nobody can suppress 70 million people? When 70 million people determined to achieve something, nobody can suppress it. You cannot tolerate anymore all this system. Everything is collapsed. There is no administration. The people are obeying my order, not their order. Legally, I am the authority because people have voted to me.
This is what Sheikh Mujib said to foreign media, explaining his stand for power with people's support as the political rulers were playing hide and seek over handing of power. People of East Pakistan were all ready for a fight for independence. Pakistan Army too finalized a blueprint to massacre the Bengali people under the Operation Searchlight. To conduct this heinous military operation, General Tikka Khan took oath as governor of East Pakistan. But the magnitude of massacre on the black night of 25th of March by Pakistan Army in Dhaka and other places stunned the whole nation. Dhaka turned into a ruined city overnight. Pakistan Army set whole Dhaka on fire. A journalist of NBC Television of America grabbed this footage of Dhaka city on March 26, hiding in Hotel Intercontinental. It shows no trace of people, only tanks of occupation army roaring on empty roads. Another footage taken on March 29 shows PPP leader Zulfikar Ali Bhutto leaving the Intercontinental Hotel for an unknown destination, escorted by security persons. The picture on 26th unfolded the genocide committed by the Pakistan Army at the Jagannath Hall of Dhaka University. Nobody was spared from bullets. Men, women, children, none was spared. The entire hall premise was littered with bodies. Pakistan Army demolished the historic temple of goddess Kali at Romna Park by shelling mortars. An eyewitness, a freedom fighter, and a foreign journalist described that demolition drive like this.
People of the citizen of this town.
I saw killing. I saw shooting. I was sitting in the middle of the house while they were shooting just outside the window. After they gained control, I must tell you, they burned all the bazaar districts where they had no possibility to search thoroughly. So they just burned it up.
Bangabandhu knew very well how to realize the demands through a disciplined movement when peaceful efforts fail. So he announced full independence as soon as the occupation Pakistani force cracked down on unarmed Bengalis at midnight on 25th March. Just at 1 minute past 12 midnight on 25th March, Bangabandhu proclaimed independence through signal of the then East Pakistan Rifles or EPR. In the proclamation he said, Pakistani forces have suddenly attacked EPR headquarters at Pilkhana and police line at Rajarbagh and killed innocent people in the city. Fighting goes on the streets of Dhaka and Chittagong. I appeal to world communities for help. Our freedom fighters are fighting bravely to free their motherland from the clutches of the enemy. My appeal and order to you freedom fighters, in the name of Almighty Allah, continue to fight till the last drop of blood to free your motherland. You seek the help of police, EPR, Bengal Regiment and Ansars to stand by you in your fight. No compromise with the enemy. Victory is ours. Wipe out the last trace of the enemy from our holy motherland. Convey the message to all patriotic and freedom-loving people, including Awami League leaders and activists. May Allah bless you. Joy Bangla. The evidence of the proclamation of independence by Bangabandhu was available in the US Defense Intelligence Agency's report prepared at 3:55 evening of 26th March. The report subsequently received from the White House Situation Room said, Pakistan was thrust into civil war today when Sheikh Mujibur Rahman proclaimed the east wing of the two-part country to be the Sovereign Independent People's Republic of Bangladesh. Fighting is reported heavy in Dhaka and other eastern cities where 10,000-man paramilitary East Pakistan Rifles has joined police and private citizens in conflict with an estimated 23,000 West Pakistani regular army troops. Continuing reinforcement by sea and air combined with the government's stringent martial law regulations illustrates Islamabad's commitment to preserve the union by force. Because of logistical difficulties, the attempt will probably fail, but not before heavy loss of life results. Against the backdrop of Bangabandhu's proclamation, and Punjabi soldiers' attack on Bengali army officers, the then Major and second in command of East Bengal Regiment, Ziaur Rahman, repeated the announcement of independence on behalf of Bangabandhu from the radio station at Kalurghat in Chittagong on 26th March evening in 1971. The announcement continued for the next few days and reached most Bengalis.
I, Ziaur Rahman, on behalf of our great national leader, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, do hereby proclaim the independence of Bangladesh.
আমাদের সংগ্রাম চলবেই চলবে। এই সংগ্রাম ব্যক্তিগত স্বার্থের সংগ্রাম নয়।
Elderly nationalist leader Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan Bhashani also urged people to join the war of liberation. Though there was no major resistance from Bengali people, Pakistan forces bombarded on civilians using fighter planes. Inspired by the declaration of independence in March, Bengali people promptly reacted to the Pakistani attack with counterattacks and also formed a fresh government in 22 days. It was first declared that the government of independent Bangladesh would be formed on April 10 and Chuadanga subdivision under Kushtia district would be the capital. But the plan was changed for security reasons. On 17th April, the first government of independent sovereign Bangladesh was formed at Boidyanath Tola of Meherpur subdivision. Boidyanath Tola was renamed as Mujibnagar. Hence, the government was identified as Mujibnagar government, acknowledging the people's verdict in the general election of 70 and endorsing the UN Charter. Professor Yusuf Ali read out the proclamation of independence. He also conducted the oath-taking ceremony, where Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib was made the President, Sayyid Nazrul Islam Vice President, Tajuddin Ahmed Prime Minister, AHM Kamruzzaman Home Minister, Captain M. Mansoor Ali Finance Minister, and M.A.G. Osmani Chief of Army Staff. Sharp at 11:30, Sayyid Nazrul Islam took oath as acting President in absence of Bangabandhu. A group of armed force led by Captain Mahbub for the first time gave guard of honor to the acting President of independent and sovereign Bangladesh.
Government of Bangladesh is run very much physically and purposefully with the help of the people, with the consent of the people, and with the help of the officers and executive who are in charge of running the government. So I request my foreign journalist friend to convey this fact and truth to their respective countries so that there may be a realization that the government of Bengal is not in paper, not in dream, not a myth, it is a reality. It is such a reality that the world, I hope, cannot ignore it.
Mohammad Asadul Haq, Shahabuddin Ahmed Sentu, and Pintu Bishash played the national anthem. A large number of foreign journalists attended this ceremony. Leaders of this government urged the world community to support the new government of independent Bangladesh.
সেই ঘোষণাপত্র মোতাবেক স্বাধীন জনগণতান্ত্রিক বাংলাদেশ সরকারের উপরাষ্ট্রপতির শপথ আমি গ্রহণ করেছি।
বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমানের বাংলাদেশ সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে আমাদের সাংবাদিক বন্ধুদেরকে আন্তরিক ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি এই জন্যে যে তারা আমাদের আমন্ত্রণে স্বাধীন বাংলাদেশের মাটি দেখে যাওয়ার জন্যে বহু কষ্ট করে বহু দূর দূরান্ত থেকে এখানে উপস্থিত হয়েছেন।
ঈশান মজুর বাংলার সাথী রে, ও ভাই মোর তোমার কিসের ভয়, তোমার হাতে দেশের কাঠি হবে রে হবে রে হবে যায়, মহনত তোমার কিসের দুষ্ট রে, ও ভাই মোর বন্ধু কঠোর হীরা, নিজের হিসাব বুঝে।
After the installation of the Mujibnagar government, a roaming radio station called Shadhin Bangla Betar Kendra was set in place to promote the cause of the liberation war and to inspire the people of Bangladesh for the battle against the occupation army and their collaborators. All through the period of the liberation war, Shadhin Bangla Betar Kendra broadcast news, speech and songs to keep up the morale of the freedom fighters. Responding to this promise, every single person of Bangladesh joined the war of independence.
একটি ফুলকে বাঁচাবো বলে যুদ্ধ করি, মোরা একটি ফুলকে বাঁচাবো বলে যুদ্ধ করি, মোরা একটি মুখের হাসির জন্য অস্ত্র ধরি, মোরা একটি মুখের হাসির জন্য অস্ত্র ধরি, মোরা একটি ফুলকে বাঁচাবো বলে যুদ্ধ করি।
Responding to this promise, every single person of Bangladesh joined the war of independence.
আমার সোনার বাংলা, আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি, চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ তোমার বাতাস।
The genocide committed on the soil of Bengal by the Pakistan army surpassed all past records. This information prompted world-famous singer George Harrison and instrumentalist Ravi Shankar to arrange a concert at the Madison Square of United States to seek support for the war victims of Bangladesh. This historic concert was named Concert for Bangladesh. Meanwhile, 10 million Bangladeshis took shelter in India. In a very short time, their lives became miserable. Many of the refugees died of cholera, diarrhea, and chickenpox. The Indian Authority did a lot to support these homeless, landless people. People of India generously came forward to help the distressed people. People from all walks of life were seen to seek financial support for Bangladeshi people on the streets of Kolkata and other Indian cities. But the biggest support for the Bangladeshi people came from West Bengal government and people.
We do not want them to get assimilated in the locality. So they have great difficulties. They are all living this kind of community life under the same tarpaulin. And I'm sure if you give them the facilities to go back, they will go back.
Horrified by the conditions of the refugee camps, the greatest pioneer in humanitarian service, Mother Teresa raised her voice against the atrocities that had been committed to the people who had arrived at the camps and pledged with the world to come forward to their support and stand by them. Dr. Simon of Save the Children, who was working in the camps, also portrayed a very dreadful picture of the refugee camps. In October 1971, he stated that more than 300,000 children had died due to malnutrition in the camps over the previous 2 months, and 300,000 more would die in the next 2 months. Later, it was revealed that nearly 800,000 children had died inside the refugee camps in India during those horrible 9 months of the Liberation War. Senator John Edward Kennedy, head of the Senate Committee of the United States on International Refugee Affairs, wanted to visit the refugee camps of East Pakistan, but he was denied permission to visit by the Pakistan Authority. He finally visited the refugee camps in India and was shocked to witness the state of the camps. In spite of the report he made to the Senate upon his return to the United States, the government of Richard Nixon continued to stand as allies to the Pakistan Authority. An Australian parliamentary delegate also visited the refugee camps and was alarmed to see the inhumane conditions in the camps. On 24th September 1971, the world-famous economist Kenneth Galbraith also came to visit the refugee camps in West Bengal. He too was utterly shocked by the situation inside the camps. But he nonetheless was charmed by the people's infinite patience, courage, and determination to achieve freedom. He requested the world to show their compassion to the suffering refugees. On 1st October 1971, a Japanese parliamentary delegate of 4 members came down to visit the camps, and being victims of the Second World War, they could easily understand the extent of the horror this war had unleashed upon the people of Bangladesh. On 8th October, Kolkata hosted the International Conference on Bangladesh. Representatives of 24 countries across the world participated in the conference, and they too went to visit the refugee camps. After the visit, the conference concluded by declaring that there was no other way but to give the Bengalis their right to self-rule to save them from the worst kind of humanitarian crisis witnessed in the history of mankind. Since the breaking out of the Liberation War, war-injured freedom fighters and battered and tortured masses from Bangladesh started taking shelter in hospitals of Tripura and other places outside the border of the country. The doctors and medical personnel rendered their best services to war victims within whatever limited resources they had at their disposal. The air in the hospitals grew heavy with cries of pain of people losing limbs or suffering from bullet wounds or burn injuries. An unidentified young woman was discovered shot in the head on the road, left to die after being gang-raped by the Pakistan Army and Razakars. She died in a hospital in Tripura after undergoing treatment for some time. Maybe this is just how the Pakistanis wanted to annihilate the Bengali nation by systematically torturing them and then shooting them in the brain.
বীরের রক্তে ভিজে গেছে আজ বাংলাদেশের ভূমি বীরের রক্তে ভিজে গেছে আজ বাংলাদেশের সেই রক্তের বিনিময়ে আজ স্বাধীনতায় আনো তুমি মরণ যদিও জীবন কেড়েছে
On October 29, the first Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Tajuddin Ahmed, started visiting the freed areas of Bangladesh. more than 50 square miles on Kushtia border were freed by the freedom fighters by October. Tajuddin visited camps of freedom fighters. He briefed them about the war's strategy. He also encouraged and inspired them. He talked to general people to understand the pulse of people of a free area. Tajuddin was moved by their sense of patriotism and active participation in liberation war. He was given a grand reception at Patgram of Rangpur district. He inaugurated the first police station of independent Bangladesh there and also released a stamp carrying the picture of Bangabandhu as a memorial of establishing the Postal Department of Bangladesh.
কোন কোন জায়গার পর ব্যাংকার আছে?
আমি ব্যাংকার মেজেন দেখছি 8 জন মানুষ। তারপরে এখানে মেজেন খানা ও স্টেশনকে পাশে ওই লোকের লাঙ্গার তার, তারপরে এখানে থাকে মেজর দুরানি। তারপরে
Participation of children in the liberation war was an exceptional phenomenon. Practically, their participation proved that it was really a people's war. Teenage detectives were used to pass information to freedom fighters on enemy position, their arms, ammunitions, and attack plan. This helped Bengali fighters enough to have supremacy in encounters with the enemy. This unidentified boy played a great role passing information about Pakistani force to freedom fighters having position near Shalda River of Chittagong. An area that finally came under the command of Bengali army officer Major Saleh. In fact, Major Khalid Musharraf, head of K Force, one of the 3 key forces formed during the Liberation War, was the chief commanding officer of areas controlled by Major Saleh. This is a description of the war situation by Khalid Musharraf, a valiant warrior full of patriotism.
Fighting a war of attrition, in that we kill in self-defense, as long as they are going to come and fight with us.
But Pakistani authority continuously kept suppressing the reality. Rather, they alleged that Indians did everything that had been happening in East Pakistan.
Very well-disciplined army. We are proud of this fact. I deny this accusation of atrocity of Pakistan army.
Besides, the occupation army, their collaborators, Ghulam Azam and others, were also very active to foil the liberation war. This single shot by a journalist is a document of their activities. This old man fled through Joshua Road to escape the atrocity of Al-Badr. A gang of Ghulam Azam made a statement of the situation.
মানুষ একেবারে কাটে কাটে 2 ভাগ করে দিয়েছে, 2-3 ভাগ খণ্ড করে দিয়েছে। কচড়ির মধ্যে টগরের মধ্যে মাথা জাগাইয়া নাক জাগাইয়া 3 দিন 4 দিন পর্যন্ত থাকতে হয়েছে। মেয়ে দিনে কত কত ছোট ছোট বাচ্চা কচড়ির তলে থুয়ে আসতে হয়েছে, তা আমরা আনতে পারি নেই বাবা, আর ক্ষমতা নেই।
Perhaps due to the monsoon, it was their declared aim actually that they would increase it during monsoon. And I think they have done so a little more.
But President of Pakistan, Yahya Khan, praised the role of Razakars. Collaborating forces like Razakar, Al-Badr and Al-Shams were formed overnight.
Being fired at, being ruled by these guerrillas, army reaches there. Well, army can't reach everywhere. So what is happening really is that the people themselves are now organizing village defense.
On the other hand, the war started to take a new shape after July. Despite continuous propaganda by the Pakistani Authority, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister of India, announced her solidarity with the have-nots from East Pakistan while she visited the refugee camps in Kolkata. Trained freedom fighters were also approaching the mainland, crossing the border. This border belt was freed in August. Freedom fighters opened a training center after capturing the Roumari police station. As the rainy season approached, the occupation army found it difficult to carry on the fight. Not only that, frequent ambush by Bengali guerrillas put the Pakistani Authority into a difficult situation. A group of guerrillas blew up the Department of Information for carrying out propaganda against freedom fighters.
I got this stuff, but I found the governor in the bunker, in the guard, something like this, saying, if I go to resign, should I resign? Will my wife be killed by these armies? Can I get
The Pakistani Authority started a diplomatic war with the help of its friendly countries in August, after they had realized that winning the war was beyond their ability. That's why Yahya Khan kept speaking ill of India.
My borders are troubled, not by me, but by my neighbor. Shelling by field guns, mortaring by mortars. Activities by infiltrators, armed infiltrators across the border are continuing. I would like to know which displaced person, civilian, would like to cross that border under those conditions.
Notorious diplomat and erstwhile US Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, while visiting India, sensed the gravity of the situation. So, he influenced Pakistan to raise voice against India at the United Nations Assembly.
By indulging in sabotage of food ships, India is trying to create conditions of famine for 75 million people of East Pakistan to fulfill its own political objectives. If the international community is genuinely concerned about possible food shortage in East Pakistan, it has an obligation to prevent India from indulging in activities which, if unchecked, cannot but endanger the sustenance of the people of East Pakistan.
Now you know what the position is. Now you know that India, a predatory aggressor, a country that has never reconciled herself to Pakistan, has committed naked aggression for the third time on the soil of Pakistan.
Other political parties of West Pakistan also kept supporting the Yahya and Bhutto alliance, as they were kept in the dark about the real scenario in East Pakistan. This support inspired Yahya Khan to be more notorious.
I'm trying to avert it by showing a lot of patience. But there's a limit to our patience too. So we're very close to it. I am equally going to make it very clear that the war is forced on us through a means of some action in East Pakistan. An attack on East Pakistan is an attack on Pakistan.
But Indian Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi herself was more than enough to defend the right cause of the people of East Pakistan.
Well, surely that the massacre there stops, the rape stops, the burning of villages stops.
Can it not be fairly put to you that you're contributing in a way to the exodus of the refugees by your support for the Pakistan guerrillas? Now, mustn't you, in effect, face the question of having to reduce your support for the guerrilla armies operating in East Pakistan?
Does that mean we allow a massacre to continue? What happened first? How many people were killed according to your correspondence of British newspapers, of American newspapers, of French newspapers, Canadian newspapers, Arabian newspapers? The massacre began long before there was a single guerrilla.
But as a contribution to quietening the situation, as I say.
No, what does quietening mean? Does it mean that we support the genocide And do you think it can be stopped? Do you think people are going to sit aside and watch their women raped in front of them? And say that, no, we are going to quieten the situation? That's not quietness. That is the worst possible type of war, is the worst possible type of violence.
But how then, without something done to control the guerrilla activity in return for greater discipline by the Pakistan army, can you secure these first steps?
When Hitler was on the rampage, why didn't you say, let's keep quiet and let's have peace in Germany and let the Jews die, or let Belgium die, let France die? Would you say that was quiet?
But how do you propose to bring about these first steps to control the exodus?
It's not for us to. This would never have happened if the world community had woken up to the fact when we first drew their attention to it.
Mrs. Gandhi didn't sit idle after winning the battle of words. She vigorously countered Pakistan at home and United Nations.
It is a time for alertness, not only of our defense forces, but of all our people. In the last few months, the world has witnessed the courage, dignity, and self-restraint with which we have faced this challenge. I am sure that you will meet all future dangers in the same spirit.
Still, taming the devil was not easy. The Pakistani Authority preferred an unnatural solution as the Bengali fighters finalized their plan.
Situation created by the Indian aggression is leading the two countries to a point of no return. I would like to make it absolutely clear that we shall defend our honor.
Pakistan first attacked India in November. Air raid by Pak Air Force killed Indian civilians in Tripura. The Pakistani venture did not produce results. Freedom fighters kept on liberating area after area of Bangladesh.
নারায়ণপুরে রেলওয়ে স্টেশন ওখানে আপনাদের ওই ব্যাংকারের দিকে সম্মুখের ব্যাংকার থেকে ফায়ার করতেছে। ব্যাংকার থেকে ফায়ার করতেছে।
Their operations throughout Bangladesh are carefully controlled and coordinated at central command.
This is the place. This place is known as Kulapathar, and I have buried 10 of my boy who has been shaheed in the last few days of battle. And each one of them have fought gallantly. If I tell you the stories how they have died, you'll be surprised. They have not bothered about their life, but by dying, they have saved many of us. And in each one of this case, I just can't imagine when a chap fighting like this have died, what right have we got to live and enjoy the independence? I don't know. We have to fight, and all our soldiers are fully determined. My name is Major Salik, and I have been given the charge of this subsector. Shaldanudi, you must have heard it many times in the radio. This area, I have got about 40 square miles of liberated. You know, they pass their regular life by normal farming, and this market, as you see, this Bangladesh flag is on. It can definitely boost up their morale, and they are quite determined. These people are of a lot of help for us because they act as sometimes the scouts. They bring information of enemy. They act as our load carrier. That is the best way we can utilize them. Our ammunition replenishment and casualty evacuation. There are many local people. They all come out with this type of helps.
Pakistan didn't expect that its diplomatic ally USA would be overwhelmed by the strong personality of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Perhaps they waged the war for a diplomatic victory. Couple of days before their surrender, this statement by head of Eastern Commands of Pakistani Army, General Niazi, carries that sense.
Proud of my troops, their discipline, their bravery, their tradition, and I'm sure we will be able to maintain the traditions of our forefathers, which have never lost a battle. Jai Bangla! Jai Bangla! Fight it out to the last.
But a lot of men might die.
This is the price of the freedom.
But what freedom? Not yours.
It's mine, yes, my country, Pakistan.
You still consider that you stand a fighting chance
will stay, yes, inshallah will stay.
But the next scene was just opposite.
You'll find the tanks on the road after pointing the guns towards Kulla. Don't attack the tanks. After the tanks, 2,000 yards to 3,000 yards, you'll find on the port and starboard side enemy concentration. Go in for those. You are flying towards Jessore now.
The Sino-American attempt in favor of Pakistan for a ceasefire at United Nations was vetoed by Russia. Right at this moment, India's call for transfer of Pakistani political power to the elected representatives of people sounded very logical.
This one-sided and partisan attitude of the distinguished representative of United States of America has shocked and surprised us. The US is entitled to its own opinions and interpretations. So are we. But facts are facts and must be stated. Right from the beginning of this unfortunate situation that has arisen in the subcontinent, India had been asking for a political settlement acceptable to the elected and acknowledged representatives of the people of Bangladesh.
In the meantime, India stepped up its attack on the Western Front. Air attack on Karachi airport and all other frontiers crushed Pakistani defense in 5 days. Indian Army occupied a vast area of Pakistan on the Western Front. Governor of East Pakistan Munaim Khan fled, fearing Indian air attack. friends of Pakistan sensed that defeat is inevitable. That's why United States proposed for a truce. At that time, former US President George Bush Sr. was permanent representative of US in UN. He tried his best to get the proposal passed.
But in defiance of this expression of world opinion, India again said no. They continue to prefer the use of force to peaceful means. India, which over the years has sought to reflect in and outside of this chamber the moral force of the world, the very precepts for which its great leaders, Gandhi and Nehru, stood, is now disregarding the Charter of the United Nations.
But the firm stand of Russia and India facilitated the way of freedom for Bangladesh. Defeat of US in UN justified the war for Bangladesh. UN Secretary General U Thant only urged the rival parties not to target innocent civilians.
I now appeal to all the parties to the conflict, no matter what their allegiance, to take every possible measure to spare the lives of the innocent civilian population which is afflicted and threatened by the present hostility.
Gradually, defense of Pakistani force collapsed in Dhaka. British journalist Mark Tully was describing the situation of the unguarded city.
Half destroyed the residence. Then I got there just after that. I found the governor in the bunker, in the guard, trembling like a leaf and saying, I didn't quite know whether to resign. Should I resign? Will my wife be killed by the Indian Army? Can I get at the Intercontinental Hotel? As we were standing there in this bunker, suddenly there was another raid. And all hell broke loose. There was an enormous crash. And hardly the crash died down, but the governor suddenly produced a ballpoint pen, a scrap of paper, a few carbons, and had written out a resignation statement in a matter of seconds, just in time actually for the second big crash.
At last, the External Affairs Minister of Pakistan, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, became furious and refused to accept the proposal for surrender in the Security Council. Rather, he opted for war, tearing the paper of the surrender proposal.
It's disgraceful to my person and to my country to remain here a moment longer than necessary. But I am not boycotting. Impose any decision. Have a treaty worse than the Treaty of Versailles. Legalize aggression. Legalize occupation. Legalize everything that has been illegal till 13th or 15th of December 1971. I will not be a party to it. We will fight. We will go back and fight. My country hearkens for me. Why should I waste my time here in the Security Council? I will not be a party to the ignominious surrender of part of my country. You can take your Security Council. Here you are. I am going.
But the vanity of Bhutto vanished in moments with the defeat of Pakistani army on the Western Front and landing of Indian paratroopers in Dhaka. Still, the conspiracy was not over. On the eve of final victory on December 14, 1971, best sons and daughters of the soil were killed brutally. Collaborators of Pak Army first abducted teachers, literateurs, journalists, doctors, artists, cultural activists, and other intellectuals and shot them dead at Raya Bazaar of the capital. Professor Muniruzzaman, who was looking for his brother's dead body, described the scene of the slaughtering ground. Actually, there was no reason of these senseless killings.
Because these people were the intellectuals.
But an interview of filmmaker Zahir Rehan, who had been missing since that day, made sense of why they killed intellectuals.
কিন্তু বাংলাদেশে আমি যা দেখেছি তার মধ্যে সবচেয়ে আশ্চর্যজনক বিষয় ছিল যে কোনো অপারেশনে ধ্বংসযজ্ঞ চালানো ও মানুষদের খুন করার পর মিলিটারি ইউনিট একটা মুভি ক্যামেরা দিয়ে মৃতদেহগুলোর শুটিং করত। কোনো বাড়ি পোড়ানোর পর তারা পুড়ে যাওয়া বাড়িটার শট তুলত। তারা লোকজনদেরকে বাধ্য করত বাড়িটার জিনিসপত্র লুট করতে। এরপর তারা মুভি ক্যামেরা দিয়ে এসব লুটেরাদের শুটিং করত। আমি পরে জেনেছি যে তারা এসব দৃশ্য সম্পাদনা করে বিশ্ববাসীকে দেখাতো যে বাঙালিরা অবাঙালিদের হত্যা করছে এবং ওই বিশৃঙ্খলা পরিস্থিতি নিয়ন্ত্রণে আনতেই সেনাবাহিনীকে হস্তক্ষেপ করতে হয়েছে। এটা ছিল পুরোপুরি মিথ্যা।
Because of that chaos and confusion, they had to intervene. It was an utter lie.
A conclusion can be drawn from this last moment killing that the Pakistani occupation force and the local collaborators Razakars al-Badr al-Shams wanted to make the new nation talentless. On December 16, the Pakistani army quietly agreed to surrender to the Indian force. Amidst the slogan of Jai Bangla, sharp at 4 p.m., General Amir Abdullah Khan Niazi, Chief of Eastern Command of Pakistan Army, surrendered with his 90,000 soldiers at Racecourse Ground, where Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib first gave the call for total independence on March 7. Meanwhile, Humayun Rashid Chaudhry broke the news of the liberation of Bangladesh in Indian Parliament amidst huge applause.
Dhaka is free. Bangladesh is free. The people of Bangladesh are free.
By the time the green flag with red circle in the center started flying in the sky of Bangladesh, million voices chanted Joy Bangla. Leaders of government in exile came back home shortly after 16th of December. The great leader of Bangladesh, who made the dream of 1,000 years come true, Sheikh Mujib, was still languishing in the condemned cell of West Pakistan. People of Bangladesh had to wait 2 more weeks to receive him. Bangabandhu stopped over at London and Delhi on his flight to Dhaka from Karachi. British Prime Minister Edward Heath warmly received Sheikh Mujib.
The unbounded joy of freedom with my fellow countrymen who have earned their freedom in an epic liberation struggle. The ultimate achievement of this struggle is the creation of an independent, sovereign People's Republic of Bangladesh, of which my people declared me as the president while I was a prisoner in the condemned cell, awaiting the execution of a sentence of hanging. No people has had to pay as high a price in human life and suffering for their freedom as has been exacted from the people of Bangladesh. I cannot wait to see...
The news of arrival of Bangabandhu in London spread all over the world in moments. A huge number of people gathered in front of the hotel where Sheikh Mujib boarded. Mujib thanked them, waving his hand from the hotel window. Bangabandhu also made a stopover at Delhi for a few hours. Indian President V.V. Giri, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, cabinet members, heads of defense forces received him at the airport. President V.V. Giri himself garlanded Mujib. For the first time, Sheikh Mujib was given Guard of Honor as head of state. V.V. Giri also expressed his feelings for Sheikh Mujib in his speech.
You are the embodiment of the undying spirit of suffering and sacrifice in the cause of human liberty and human freedom. The emergence of independent Bangladesh is itself a unique event in the annals of democratic movement in world history.
Sheikh Mujib responded to his speech.
For me, this is a most gratifying moment. I have decided to stop over in the historic capital of your great country on my way to Bangladesh. For this is the least I could do to pay personal tribute to the best friend of my people, the people of India, and your government under the leadership of your magnificent Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi.
Bangabandhu was given a grand reception at Lal Killa of Delhi, where thousands of Indian people, plagued by emotion, gathered and made the air heavy with slogans of Long Live Bangladesh and Joy Bangla. Indian Prime Minister Mrs. Gandhi and father of the newly born nation Bangladesh, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, spoke at the rally.
उनका शरीर जेल में बंद था, लेकिन उनकी आत्मा को कोई बंद नहीं कर सका और उसने प्रेरणा दी बांग्लादेश के लोगों को कि इस हिम्मत से उन्होंने लड़ा और आज वो स्वतंत्र हैं और उन्हीं आदर्शों पे लड़ा जो हमारे देश को प्रेरणा देते आए हैं। हमने यहाँ भारत में भी 3 वादे किए थे अपनी जनता से। पहले ये कि जो शरणार्थी यहाँ आए हैं वो सब वापस जाएंगे, दूसरा ये कि हम हर तरह से मुक्ति वाहिनी की सहायता करेंगे, बांग्लादेश के लोगों की मदद करेंगे और तीसरे कि शेख साहब को हम जरूर छुड़वाएंगे जेल से। हमने भी अपने 3 वादे पूरे किए हैं।
प्राइम मिनिस्टर श्रीमती गांधी, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन प्रेजेंट, আমার ভাই ও বোনেরা, আপনাদের প্রধানমন্ত্রী, আপনাদের সরকার, সৈন্যবাহিনী, আপনাদের জনসাধারণ যে সাহায্য এবং সহানুভূতি আমার দুঃখী মানুষকে দেখিয়েছে, চিরদিন বাংলার মানুষ তা ভুলতে পারবে না। ব্যক্তিগতভাবে আপনারা জানেন আমি পশ্চিম পাকিস্তানের অন্ধকার ছেলের মধ্যে বন্দী ছিলাম 2 দিন আগেও। শ্রীমতী গান্ধী আমার জন্য দুনিয়ার এমন জায়গা নাই যেখানে চেষ্টা করেন নাই আমাকে রক্ষা করার জন্য। আমি ব্যক্তিগতভাবে তার কাছে কৃতজ্ঞ। আমার 6-7 কোটি মানুষ ব্যক্তিগতভাবে তার কাছে এবং তার সরকারের কাছে কৃতজ্ঞ। আমার জনসাধারণ ভারতবর্ষের জনসাধারণের কাছে কৃতজ্ঞ। আর যেভাবে 1 কোটি লোকের খাওয়ার বন্দোবস্ত এবং ঢাকার বন্দোবস্ত আপনারা করেছেন, আমি জানি ভারতবর্ষের মানুষও দুঃখী আছে, সেখানে তারাও কষ্ট পাচ্ছে, তাদেরও অভাবিত আছে। তা থাকতেও তারা সর্বস্ব দিয়েছে আমার লোককে সাহায্য করার জন্য। চিরদিন আমরা তা ভুলতে পারবো না। আমরা আশা করি, আজ জানেন বাংলাদেশ শেষ হয়ে গেছে। আমি সমস্ত সকল প্রকার সাহায্য সহানুভূতি আশা করি এবং এও আশা করি যে দুনিয়ার শান্তিপূর্ণ গণতান্ত্রিক যে মানুষ আছে তারা এগিয়ে আসবে আমার মানুষকে সাহায্য করার জন্য। আমি বিশ্বাস করি সেকুলারিজমে, আমি বিশ্বাস করি গণতন্ত্রে, আমি বিশ্বাস করি সোশ্যালিজমে। আমাকে প্রশ্ন করা হয় শ্রীমতী ইন্দিরা গান্ধীর সাথে আপনার আদর্শে এত মিল কেন? আমি বলি এটা আদর্শের মিল, এটা নীতির মিল, এটা মনুষ্যত্বের মিল, এটা বিশ্ব শান্তির মিল।
Delhi was decorated on the occasion of the arrival of Bangabandhu. President V.V. Giri and Prime Minister Indira Gandhi warmly saw off Mujib at the airport. was an incredible gathering of people where emotion was running high when the plane carrying Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib touched the land of independent Bangladesh. All of them came a long way to welcome their beloved leader, father of the nation, Bangabandhu. The leader of the people also got emotional. He was speaking in emotion-choked voice and wiping the tears off his eyes.
আমার বাংলাদেশের ছাত্র শ্রমিক কৃষক বুদ্ধিজীবী সেবাই পুলিশ জনগণকে হিন্দু মুসলমানকে হত্যা করা হয়েছে তাদের আত্মার মঙ্গল কামনা করে এবং তাদের প্রতি শ্রদ্ধা নিবেদন করে আমি আপনাদের কাছে দু এক কথা বলতে চাই। আমার বাংলাদেশ আজ স্বাধীন হয়েছে, আমার জীবনের স্বাদ আজ পূর্ণ হয়েছে, আমার বাংলা মানুষ আজ মুক্ত হয়েছে। আমি আজ বক্তৃতা করতে পারবো না। বাংলার ছেলেরা, বাংলার মায়েরা, বাংলার কৃষক, বাংলার শ্রমিক, বাংলার বুদ্ধিজীবী কিভাবে সংগ্রাম করেছে। আমি কারাগারে বন্দী ছিলাম, ফাঁসি কাটতে যাবার জন্য প্রস্তুত ছিলাম, কিন্তু আমি জানতাম আমার বাঙালিকে কেউ দাবায় রাখতে পারবে না, আমার বাংলার মানুষ স্বাধীন হবে। প্রায় 30 লক্ষ লোককে মেরে ফেলে দেওয়া হয়েছে বাংলায়। দ্বিতীয় মহাযুদ্ধেও এবং প্রথম মহাযুদ্ধেও এত লোক, এত সাধারণ নাগরিক মৃত্যুবরণ করে নাই, শহীদ হয় নাই, যা আমার এই 7 কোটি বাংলাদেশে পেয়েছে। আমি জানতাম না আপনাদের কাছে আমি ফিরে আসবো। আমি খালি একটা কথা বলেছিলাম, তোমরা যদি আমাকে মেরে ফেলে দাও আমার আপত্তি নাই, মৃত্যুর পরে আমার লাশটা আমার বাঙালির কাছে দিয়ে দিও, এই একটা অনুরোধ তোমাদের। তবে মনে রাখা উচিত, বাংলাদেশ স্বাধীন সার্বভৌম রাষ্ট্র, বাংলাদেশ স্বাধীন থাকবে, বাংলাদেশকে কেউ দমাতে পারবে না। কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ বলেছিলেন, 7 কোটি বাঙালিরে বঙ্গজননী রেখেছ বাঙালি করে মানুষ করনি। কবিগুরু মিথ্যা কথা প্রমাণ হয়ে গেছে, আমার বাঙালি আজ মানুষ। জানতাম না আমার ফাঁসির হুকুম হয়ে গেছে, আমার ছেলের পাশে আমার জন্য কবর খোঁজা হয়েছে। আমি প্রস্তুত হয়েছিলাম, বলেছিলাম আমি বাঙালি, আমি মানুষ, আমি মুসলমান, একবার মরে 2 বার মরে না। আমি বলেছিলাম আমার মৃত্যু আসে থাকে যদি আমি হাসতে হাতে যাব, আমার বাঙালি জাতকে অপমান করে যাব না, তোমাদের কাছে ক্ষমা চাইব না। এবং যাবার সময় বলে যাব, জয় বাংলা, স্বাধীন বাংলা, বাঙালি আমার জাতি, বাংলা আমার ভাষা, বাংলার মাটি আমার স্থান।
মাগো ঝুঁকে ঝুঁকে এই মাটির বুকে কত রাত জেগে জেগে ভোর, কত জেগে থাকা রাতে একা একা ভেসেছে 2টি আঁখি তোর। আজও সেই চোখে স্মৃতি হয়ে থাকে শত স্বপ্ন জয়েরই গান, সেই বিজয় স্রোতে যেন এক হতে জাগে তোর কোটি সন্তান। বাংলাদেশ প্রাণের দেশ, বাংলাদেশ স্বপ্নের দেশ। মাগো যুগে যুগে এই মাটির বুকে কত রাত জেগে জেগে ভোর, কত জেগে থাকা রাতে একা একা ভেসেছে 2টি আঁখি তোর। আজও সেই চোখে স্মৃতি হয়ে থাকে শত স্বপ্ন জয়েরই গান, সেই বিজয় স্রোতে যেন এক হতে জাগে তোর কোটি সন্তান। বাংলাদেশ প্রাণের দেশ, বাংলাদেশ স্বপ্নের সুখের এই ঘর বাংলাদেশ, প্রাণের দেশ বাংলাদেশ, আমার দেশ। মাগো ঝুঁকে ঝুঁকে এই মাটির বুকে কত রাত জেগে জেগে ভোর, কত জেগে থাকা রাতে একা একা ভেসেছে দুটি আঁখি তোর। আজও সেই চোখে স্মৃতি হয়ে থাকে শত স্বপ্ন জয়ের এই গান, সেই বিজয় স্রোতে যেন এক হতে জাগে তোর কোটি সন্তান। বাংলাদেশ, প্রাণের দেশ বাংলাদেশ, স্বপ্নের দেশ। মাগো ঝুঁকে ঝুঁকে এই মাটির বুকে কত রাত জেগে জেগে ভোর, কত জেগে থাকা রাতে একা একা ভেসেছে দুটি আঁখি তোর। আজও সেই চোখে স্মৃতি হয়ে থাকে শত স্বপ্ন জয়ের এই গান, সেই বিজয় স্রোতে যেন এক হতে জাগে তোর কোটি সন্তান। বাংলাদেশ, প্রাণের দেশ বাংলাদেশ, স্বপ্নের দেশ। মাগো যুগে যুগে এই মাটির বুকে কত রাত জেগে জেগে ভোর, কত জেগে থাকা রাতে একা একা ভেসেছে দুটি আঁখি তোর। আজও সেই চোখে স্মৃতি হয়ে থাকে শত স্বপ্ন